This is a presentation from the 2013 Cannabis World Summit. Please visit www.cannabisworldsummit.com for more great cannabis information, which is available to you completely for free. This information is being made available to you in part thanks to our sponsors. Please visit their websites to learn more about their excellent products and services. The following presentation is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Leaves of Hope Productions, Inc. Please note that regardless of any statements expressed or implied in the following presentation, that we do not condone you breaking any laws. We are not providing any legal, medical, or financial advice of any kind. No comments about cannabis being a cure for any medical use, expressed or implied, is to be taken as a claim or guarantee. None of the statements have been verified by the FDA of the United States, Health Canada, or the governing organizations of your particular country. And again, this information is being provided for informational purposes only, and the participants exercise their freedom of speech discussing what they believe to be true. We do not guarantee the accuracy of any information provided. It is your responsibility to evaluate the information before you choose to make any use of it. Please consult with a doctor knowledgeable about cannabis prior to using cannabis, and or prior to discontinuing any medications you may be currently using. Please check with the laws of your country and region to determine whether you are legally permitted to use and or grow cannabis prior to any involvement with cannabis yourself. Even though we believe that cannabis ought to be legalized, we do not condone you violating any laws. Please review the legal disclaimers on the Cannabis World Summit website and only proceed to enjoy this presentation if you agree with all legal disclaimers, agree to hold the company, Leaves of Hope Productions, Inc., and the presenters harmless and are of legal age in your region. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com for the music used in this introduction. So we have finally come to the end of the first annual Cannabis World Summit. I sincerely hope that you've really enjoyed all the marvelous content that we've provided here for you at the 2013 first of the annual events. And of course, there's going to be a lot more to come. Now, in this final talk, I'd like to just share a few closing thoughts for you. I'd like to explain why this information that is part of a 10-day event is to remain online indefinitely and why that is so important as well. And I'd like to also spend a few minutes to thank all of the summit participants, because without all of them, this event could not have possibly have happened. And also in this talk, I'd like to provide some of you the opportunity to participate in next year's 2014 summit event. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on during this recording. But first of all, I'd like to briefly touch upon the reason why this 10-day event was structured the way that it was, as well as why this content is to remain online. So, of course, it is created as a 10-day event, so this is an opportunity for people to come and focus their minds around the 420 celebrations to, of course, participate in some sort of event, because not everywhere around the world are there large gatherings of people on 420, and of course many people simply cannot travel to the various different conferences or 420 events or cannabis related events to participate in all the marvelous festivities or the education that is being provided. So hopefully this online summit will fill that gap so that everybody who has an inclination and a desire to learn more about this miraculous plant can have the opportunity to do so. And of course, we hope that this summit will grow. Now, I want to be clear up front that this is the first of an annual event. However, I'm sort of taking a 3-year approach to this. Now, during the first year, I want to imagine imagine this being equivalent to a cannabis seed. The first year is the seedling stage. So we have just successfully popped our heads out of the soil where we've, grown our roots, and we've now come into the spotlight of the sun, and we're saying, here we are, world. This is the Cannabis World Summit. So as you can see, we have successfully completed the first event, And I think this is a great starting off point for all of us. Now, the next year, the 2015 Summit event, I'm considering it to be the vegetative growth stage, where we're going to be continuing to grow and continuing to evolve this Cannabis World Summit so that it becomes even better and even more content and of course, a lot larger population of people are attending these workshops and events as well. But in 2015 is going to be the flowering of the Cannabis World Summit. That is when we anticipate that the summit will grow into becoming what it is envisioned to become all along. It takes time and it takes energy to develop something like this to become as big and powerful as it is destined and envisioned to be. But of course, it takes people as well to do that. And of course, I want to thank all the people who have participated in the first annual summit in just a moment, but I also want to put out a call out to all of you who are listening to this who have some inkling or desire to participate in the future events. Now, some of you have already contacted me saying that you would like to be interviewed for next year's summit event. If you have some knowledge or expertise about cannabis that you feel that you would like to share and that the world would really benefit from learning from you, then please contact us. Simply go to the cannabisworldsummit.com, click on the contact page, and there you'll find an email or phone number, but preferably email is best, to contact us. Suggest the topic that you would like to talk about, share who you are, tell us why we should interview you. Perhaps it's not you, but somebody else that you feel that we should interview. And if you feel, please nominate someone to be interviewed for next year's summit. And of course, share why you think that they would be a valuable contributor to the summit and what kind of information that they have that would be of value for all the listeners. But we also recognize that many of you may have other kinds of skills and aptitudes that you might be looking forward to contributing in some way. If you feel in your heart to help out with the summit, whether it be marketing it and promoting it, whether it be creating content or writing for it, if you are a musician, a music artist, please contribute your marvelous songs about cannabis. We'd love to share them with the world. If you're a comedian, we would be delighted to share your stand-up comedy about cannabis. If you are some sort of an entertainer or performer, please contact us and let us know how you can envision sharing your talent with the world in the context of what would be appropriate for the Cannabis World Summit. But if you have any kinds of skills or aptitudes that you can contribute to make this event even better, please feel free to contact us and share what ideas that you might have in mind. But also, we've been providing the opportunity for you to send us your comments. Another way that you can help is by sending us your comments about what you thought about the Cannabis World Summit, the first annual summit. Now, granted, we understand that there's definitely room for improvement here. And believe me, there's a lot that I've envisioned that I simply have not been able to do for this year, simply because there was just too much work to do, too little resources to do it. It costs a lot of money, and it takes a lot of time. And of course, as I've mentioned, I've had to put together this event primarily solo. However, my intention is in future years to develop a base where the Cannabis World Summit becomes self-sufficient financially, so that we can actually hire and outsource a lot of the work that needs to be done. And there's a lot that we desire to make improvements on. One of the things that we intend to do is we intend to incorporate a lot more videos. And for next year's summit event, we hope to do a lot more interviews via Skype so that you have something visually stimulating as well, and perhaps people showing their plants or paraphernalia or whatever it is that we're discussing. We can even get some demonstrations perhaps visually that way as well. So just be aware that we are intending to do a lot of improvements for next year and of course for the following years as well, but we very much need your feedback. So please send us your comments to the emails provided and share with us your thoughts. We absolutely love to get your positive, glowing feedback. Your gratitude and praises really very much touch our hearts, and of course gives us the energy and the drive to carry on with this project. So please feel free to share your gratitude with us. But if you also have any criticisms, we'd appreciate if you could provide it in a constructive criticism format, meaning that if you have something that you see that could be improved, please suggest how we can improve it by giving us an idea of what we can specifically do to make it better, as opposed to just pointing out what we've done wrong. If you understand what I'm saying, of course, we would love to have your feedback in that respect. So again, please send us an email with your comments for your feedback. We'd love to hear your gratitude. We'd love to see where you envision that we can make improvements. And of course, suggest speakers, suggest topics even. We have a few interesting topics already that we're brainstorming and lining up for next year's event. However, we definitely value your feedback because, of course, it is through all of you contributing your thoughts and feedbacks and of course your assistance that we can make all of this better. Now again, I mentioned a little bit earlier that this event, now it's technically over now that we're at the last day of the summit. However, all of this content shall remain online. And why are we doing this? Well, I plan on continuing to market this content, meaning that I will be soliciting the opportunities to be interviewed by magazines, radios, TV, and other media to draw more attention to the marvelous content that it's already here. But also, feel free to recommend and refer this information to other people. Feel free to put these videos up on your websites. Feel free to link to it on your websites. Tell people about it. Like it on Facebook. Tweet about it. We would appreciate if you can actually help make all this content go viral. Promote this stuff. Remember, this isn't a commercial website. We're not selling stuff here. So we're not making more money. If you direct 1 million people, or one person sees this or 1 million people sees this, it's not like I'm making more money from this. So please understand that this is not a selfish promotion request, that this is actually a help me help you request. Help me to spread the message of cannabis being a miraculous plant to the world so that all of us are helped. The more people understand the value of this plant, the more political pressure we will be putting on our politicians to ultimately legalize this. So help yourself. Promote this website, promote this summit, promote this content, and share this information with people, not because it's benefiting me, but because it's benefiting you. I hope you really understand this concept. Ultimately, this website was created to convey a message that cannabis is a miraculous plant. It's beneficial for all of us. It's not just for recreational purposes, but it has so many other values. Of course, there's medicinal purposes. We've talked about that with Rick Simpson, Lincoln Horsley, and other people have touched upon the medicinal values of this plant. With Paul Stanford and others, we've discussed the industrial and agricultural benefits of this plant. But there are other ways that people benefit from this spiritually, mentally, medicinally. But there's also the recreational aspects, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, I want to be very clear. Obviously, a lot of people enjoy cannabis recreationally. However, I would not go out of my way to be doing what I'm doing with the Cannabis World Summit if the value of this plant was just exclusively about recreation. As an inebriating substance, it's absolutely wonderful, but I would not be doing what I'm doing, promoting it and raising awareness of it just so that people can get high. No, the reason why I'm doing this is so that people recognize that, yes, of course you can get high, but you can also use this medicinally, that this also has provides a lot of solutions to a lot of the problems that we're facing environmentally, politically, economically, agriculturally, industrially. There's so many solutions that this plant is providing to us. And this is the reason why I'm doing this. And I'm really hoping that you will help to spread the message by pointing people to this site, and also helping us by suggesting how we can make it even better to accomplish those missions. Now I would like to take a moment to thank all of the people who participated and helped make the first Cannabis Annual World Summit a successful event, and I appreciate all of you who participated. Of course, we had a number of great speakers, which I'll mention in just a moment, and we've also had some supporters from advertisers and exhibitors that I would also like to mention that we very much appreciate your sponsorship, and of course for the manufacturers who sent in the product items for reviews. We very much appreciate that, and we're going to mention all of you in just a moment. But I'm going to just briefly mention all the names of the people who've participated as summit speakers for 2013 in the order that they've appeared over the 10-day event. I'm just going to mention your names because, of course, I would like to thank all of you very much. And there's so much that I'd like to thank all of you individually for. Each of you have provided an outstanding contribution to the summit and an outstanding contribution to the world of knowledge about cannabis. And thank you for all that you have been doing in the past and all that you are currently doing towards the legalization of the plant, for furthering our knowledge about the plant, and for everything that you're doing that's benefiting cannabis in all the ways that you're doing it. So I'd like to first of all thank Paul Stanford, and of course Forrest from the Magic Flight Company, Jamin Shively, Fonda Betts, Dr. Robert Melamede, Matt Myrna, Wayward Bill Shanglis, Titanium Deviations Tony, Phil Kills from Weed World Magazine, Watermelon, Linus from Vapor Brothers, of course Rick Simpson, Bad Kitty Smiles, Yuri Van Berkel from Royal Queen Seeds, Jake Hiltz from Jake's Fertilizer, RD from Sokol Seed Collective, Ed from Ed's TNT, Lincoln Horsley, Electropig von Falkengruven, Dana Dwight from Forbidden Leaf, Susan Weed, Benny from Canatrol, the Seven Leaf Drawing System, Cheryl Schumann, Adam Asenberg, Ryan from the North Ontario Compassion Club, Cade Stone from Labwork Skillet, Julia, who created the tribute page for Peter McWilliams, Amanda Hitt, and as well as Shane Metcalf, the filmmaker from Bad Seed. I'd like to thank all of you for participating and sharing your knowledge with all of us. And thank you very much for the conversations. Just for what it's worth, I've had an absolutely delightful time speaking with each and every one of you. Most of you I've spoken at length before, and even after the interview calls, we've had some of you have even become friends. So I just want to thank you all for all the work that you have done, raising awareness for cannabis. Thank you for participating in this summit event, and I very much look forward to seeing all the future work that you're doing for cannabis, and hope to have you again back on the Cannabis World Summit. And I'd like to take a few moments to thank our sponsors for all the marvelous contributions that you have provided the Cannabis World Summit. First and foremost, I want to just say this. I had contacted a number of companies through various different ways, requesting submissions from the manufacturers for products, for product reviews, and of course for involvements as sponsors. However, from the first annual event, didn't receive much of a response from most of the suppliers and most companies. Now I realized things were done a little bit last minute. There's a number of reasons why I'm sure that some of the turnout was lower and responses were lower. Again, a lot was done last minute, and I didn't have the resources to follow up and pursue everybody properly as I would have otherwise. However, I just want to say this for what it's worth. A few companies had sort of suspected that perhaps I was just one of those freebie seekers, one of those people looking for free products, rip them off, get their products and not pay for it. But those of you who have sent us your products to sample, first of all, I wasn't seeking freebie products, and for what it's worth, I have already a number of products. I'm not seeking things to fill a void that I need personally, but I, of course, I'm not going to be buying all these products for review purposes. I'd go broke because there's thousands of fabulous products. So it's the companies that want to be promoted who took advantage of the manufacturer's opportunity to send in product samples. I want to say thank you very much for trusting that I'm not one of those people who are just trying to get a freebie and, rip you off, so to speak. Thank you so very much for having the faith that this project was going to happen, that it was successful. And at this point, I'm sure it's clear to everybody that, hey, the summit actually did happen exactly as it's been announced that it was going to. And so that those of you who've taken that leap of faith to send us the products, some of you have sent us hundreds or even thousands of dollars worth of products. I just want to say a big thank you. Of course, we're very happy to promote your products, just having received them, because we want people to be aware of what products they ought to be using for the various different aspects of cannabis use. For example, we asked for vaporizers, and we're delighted that we've received some of the top quality, some of the best vaporizers the market has to offer, so that we can review them and share them with medicinal users and even recreational users, what equipment they should be using and how and why, so that we can educate the medical users how to use these kinds of equipment so that they're not just relying on, for example, joints. Now, most people know about joints. Smoking a cannabis cigarette, yes, it can be medicinal. However, vaporizing, for example, can be a better way to consume cannabis than just a simple joint. But even pipes and other devices, of course, can be better as well, such as, for example, a one-hitter in a dugout, which we've had a couple of submissions for, and I think they're absolutely fantastic. So I want to put out a call of gratitude to all the companies who sent us products and supported the summit in that way. So just in no particular order, I'm just going to go across the list here. Greenleaf Medical Clinic, thank you so very much. I contacted you because I truly believe that a number of Canadians really need to be aware of your services. Having gone through the personal experience of the challenges of trying to get my own medical license to get legal cannabis in Canada, and recognizing the insanity of the system and how difficult it is, I wanted to make sure that Canadians find the right way to navigate these legal waters in order to get their licenses. And thank you very much for participating and doing an interview so that Canadians can find out about you. Weed World Magazine with Phil Kilv, we did an interview, and Weed World Magazine provided us a few great articles that were in support of Rick Simpson. And we also had a great an advertisement that was actually featured in the April 2013 issue of Weed World Magazine promoting the Cannabis World Summit. And I hope that some of you have come to the summit from that magazine. And it's an absolutely fantastic magazine, lots of great articles. And those of you who are interested in reading various different publications, I would say definitely get yourself a subscription to this fine publication. Royal Queen Seeds. My goodness, I am absolutely enamored by Royal Queen Seeds. Thank you so very much, Yuri Van Berkel, for all your marvelous and kind support. You've been more than generous in providing us with seeds. You're also providing us with the honorariums to all of the speakers that are getting a seed packet from you. And you know what? I've also very much enjoyed the interview with Yuri. Definitely listen to it if you're interested in learning more about growing, whether it be indoors or outdoors. Lots of interesting information available there. So Royal Queen Seeds, if you're interested in fine cannabis seeds, you can definitely also read the featured article, Joy of Cannabis Collecting, which shares a lot of information about the Royal Queen Seed strains. And so this will help you to determine which of the strains are best for you to be growing if you're legally allowed to grow. And of course, you can get them directly from Royal Queen Seeds or other vendors, but you can also go to weedworld.co.uk, which is the official website of Weed World Magazine, as they also carry the Royal Queen Seed products there. Titanium Deviations, I'm absolutely enamored with this product. I think it's, first of all, the dugout itself is exceptionally well designed. It's extremely light. It's got a nice little poker built right into it, and the capacity of it is unparalleled. I've never seen a dugout that can hold as much for the size. But where they absolutely shine is their one hitter, their little chillum pipe. It's in my personal opinion, I've never come across a better one hitter. There's a lot, of course, great one hitters, and they're good for various different reasons. However, I definitely would recommend checking out Titanium Deviations for the one hitters. Forbidden Leaf, I absolutely swear by their soaps, their lotions. My wife is an absolute convert, and our home's actually become filled with all our bathrooms having Forbidden Leaf products, and of course all our guests. Of course, it becomes quite a conversational piece as well. The products, of course, are infused with hemp oil, which is very beneficial for the skin. Of course, we talked about how hemp oil is beneficial internally, but of course it can also be used topically for a number of benefits. But even just for nourishing the skin and just for cosmetic purposes, it's absolutely fantastic. Definitely check out Forbidden Leaf. CTS Innovators, thank you so very much for contacting us and sharing with us this product. At first, you came out and approached me with the opportunity to share this product with the world. And I have to say, especially at this time, I think it's an absolutely fantastic product for people who are growing herbs. Now, whether that be cannabis or other types of herbs for culinary or medicinal purposes, your product is probably the best drying solution that I've seen from allowing air drying, because it's portable, it's very easily movable, it's very convenient, much better than a clothesline or anything that's static, because of course this can be picked up and moved and relocated. It's just such a convenient product. I would definitely recommend people looking into that. Vapor Brothers, one of the original desktop vaporizers, and I have to say I am absolutely enamored by this company. Talking with Linus from Vapor Brothers, I am very impressed with the quality of the workmanship and the design of this product. It works absolutely fantastic, and for those of you who are medicinal users or even recreational users and you want a great vaporizing experience, I think this is an absolutely fantastic whip-style vaporizer. Now, another vaporizer that we, of course, had was the Magic Flight Launch Box. I'm absolutely enamored by the Magic Flight Launch Box, as I've discussed in the reviews and in the interview as well. It's quite obvious. And I think that, honestly, everybody ought to have a desktop vaporizer such as a Vapor Brothers. Everybody ought to have a nice portable Magic Flight launch box. It's just a fantastic vaporizer that can be taken on the go. I think it's the equivalent of a dugout and one-hitter combination, except it's a vaporizer. It's about as small and compact and easy to use as a one-hitter with a dugout. So definitely look into the Magic Flight, and definitely listen to the interview. I think that was an absolutely fantastic interview as well. And of course, Ed's TNT was another dugout and one-hitter combination. And I invited Ed, and numerous times, I had to convince him to do this, because I really, really, really wanted to feature Ed's product, because I love the beautiful wood that he uses. It's an absolute artistic piece. If you take pride in your smoking pieces, if you take pride in your paraphernalia, especially if you like upper class things, then definitely go to Ed's TNT website. Take a look at everything that they have to offer there. Of course, their one hitters are even made with the wood that the dugouts are made from. I think they're just absolutely stunning, and I think it's definitely worth having multiple dugouts and one hitters, so that you can have for different strains. For example, you can have one for your indica strains, one for your sativa strains, one for a favorite strain in particular. They're great to be sharing as well. They make great gifts as well. So definitely check out Ed's TNT. Also, Cannasig, which was contributed thanks to Cheryl Schumann, and it's an absolutely fantastic portable e-cigarette type of device that allows you to take essentially dabs on the go. So if you've ever seen an e-cigarette or have used an e-cigarette, you know how convenient they are, and imagine having that convenience to be able to vaporize anywhere on the go. And that being said, Vapor Brothers had also sent us a vaporizer that's also an e-cigarette, looks kind of like an Ego style vaporizer, and again, you can take dabs with that. So be sure to read about the Canasig and the Vapor Brothers portable vaporizers in the review that has been created about vaporizers. We also had a last minute addition with Jake's fertilizers. He contacted us to share his videos with you all in the summit, and of course we did an interview with him literally in the last week before the summit aired to share with you about growing, utilizing fertilizers, sharing his story, but also sharing with you his incredible growing videos. So definitely check out the growing videos that he has on his website at jakesfertilizer.com. It's an excellent resource for those of you who are learning to grow cannabis, but of course his fertilizer products are absolutely exceptional, definitely worth looking into, as well as Greenleaf Medical Clinic. They also have their own line of fertilizers as well for growers, so you can also listen to the interview with Fonda Betts to learn more about her fertilizers as well. And last but not least, also would like to thank Canatrol, Benny from Canatrol. Thank you so very much, Benny, for sharing with us about your herbal product and, of course, how it can help people when they're going through cannabis withdrawal symptoms. Because, of course, cannabis is not as addictive as most other substances. It's many regard it as less addictive and even safer than a cup of coffee. However, as coffee, also if you abruptly stop coffee, if you abruptly stop cannabis, and of course other substances as well, there's always a little bit of withdrawal that you can go through, and of course Canatrol can also help you with that. So if you are planning on quitting cannabis, whether because you have to for work, legal reasons, or just for personal reasons, check out Canatrol.com to find out more about how it can help you go through that process. And now I would like to give an extra thank to the companies that are actually helping to provide honorariums for our fabulous speakers. I mentioned the speakers a little bit earlier just by name because there's so many of them. There's about 30 speakers. Actually, 33 people have been interviewed for the summit. And so, of course, there's just too many people to individually thank. But I would like to just quickly, first of all, perhaps before I talk about the honorariums, I would just like to put out a shout out for a few exceptional people. Now, everybody who was interviewed in the summit, I think, are absolutely fantastic. But I'd just like to put an extra gratitude out there, first of all, for Rick Simpson. He's the current leader of the cannabis movement, and he shared an exceptional amount of information with all of you. I hope that you've taken the time to listen to the epic length interview with him. And of course, as mentioned there, we did the interview twice because unfortunately the first interview was deleted just because of a technical problem with the company that was doing the call recordings. So it wasn't a problem that had anything to do with me or anything that I could have avoided. Unfortunately, the company did not let us know that they were having technical difficulties, and so we lost an epic length interview. But Rick Simpson, in his absolutely wonderful personality, he did not go into the, oh my goodness, I can't believe we wasted so much time. He absolutely was delightful and kept an upbeat, positive attitude the entire time, and he immediately suggested that we redo the interview. I hope that, actually, I'm pretty sure that he recognizes the importance and the significance of the interview that we've done, and I hope that many of you have already listened to it or will plan to listen to it. Of course, it's a 5.5 hour long recording, so you might want to listen to it over a span of a few days. But those of you who have cancer or are fans of Rick Simpson, this is definitely one worth listening to. And I'd like to thank Rick for spending so much time, about 10 hours altogether, speaking with me, talking with me about cannabis, and of course educating me, but also educating all of us, all of you. And I really hope that you get a lot out of his interview. So thank you very much, Rick. I'd also like to put out a big thanks to Bad Kitty Smiles. She created the videos that you've seen on the summit independently. I had nothing to do with it. She decided to do this. She spent an enormous amount of time and energy over the past few months working on filming plants at various different stages, making all the various different preparations and filming it and editing it all down on a very old laptop that could barely barely managed to do all the video processing that was required in order for this project, but yet she done it. And I have to say that I'm extremely impressed, as are many of you have expressed that you're very impressed with what she's done. So, Bad Kitty Smiles, there is simply not enough words that I could possibly say to express my gratitude to you, but thank you for what you've done. You have literally created and left a legacy with the world that I know a lot of people will truly benefit from the videos that you have created. And of course, we're going to keep on featuring your videos, the work that you have done year after year throughout the life of the summit. Your work will continue to have a spotlight because it is so incredibly valuable. And for those of you who are listening who haven't yet had the chance to listen to her, watch her videos, please do so now. You'll learn a lot. They're absolutely outstanding. But I'd also like to add one more personal shout out of appreciation to Lincoln Horsley. And initially it started out, he was just another one of the fabulous speakers that I'd interviewed for the summit. But after that call, we ended up connecting again and multiple times. And then we've literally connected almost on a daily level, whether it be texting each other or picking up the phone and speaking with each other. We've even helped other people who've contacted us with cancer and various different things. I won't get into the details of that. But I just want to say that Lincoln has actually inspired me in numerous ways. And I'll just share one of the ways that he inspired me. So here's this young guy who is very brave. He's out of the closet. He's openly sharing with the world what he's been doing. And I have to say that really touched me because since the beginning of the summit, I've been kind of scared coming out of my closet, so to speak. I'm now definitely very out of the closet. Virtually everybody that I know knows that I'm a cannabis activist. But when I started interviewing him, I was in that process of coming out of the closet and becoming a vocal activist for cannabis. And there's many things, I won't get into the details, but there's a lot about this man that's really inspired me. And I just want to say that I'm very grateful for all the work that he's doing, because he's doing a tremendous amount of good for so many people around the world who are learning from his website about how to cure their own cancer. The people that he's touched their lives personally, but even just speaking with me, I've actually learned through osmosis and observing him a few interesting things. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to get to know him. And we've actually become friends as well. And of course, there are so many other people. I'm literally tempted to just talk about everybody, because most of the speakers that I've interviewed have actually touched my heart or impacted my mind, or in some way has made a lasting, indelible contribution in my mind. And I'm very grateful for all of you. However, because there's so many of you, I just simply will not mention all of you by name. But I've mentioned all of you by name earlier in this recording, but just briefly, just recognize that I could easily speak for quite a long time, gushing in my gratitude for each and every one of you individually. Now, we're going to be sending each of you honorariums. My original intention was to send the honorariums before the Cannabis World Summit. However, to be honest with you, this summit was a humongous project, and I've literally had to focus my time on doing the important tasks to ensure that the summit was completed on time. And believe me, I was actually completing a lot of projects during the time of the summit. Unfortunately, the 10 days of the summit was not a relaxation time where I was just releasing the content. It was actually a time that I was exceptionally busy finalizing a lot of the content. But anyhow, one of the projects that will be happening shortly after the summit is completed is I will be sending out all of the honorariums, and also some of the suppliers and sponsors are also providing honorariums. And I'd like to give some shout outs of appreciation to the companies that are sending out honorariums. So first of all, Royal Queen Seeds has been kind enough to offer a packet of seeds that they will ship out and send out to all of the speakers and people who are involved with the summit. So I'd like to say thank you so very much to Yuri Van Berkel from Royal Queen Seeds, who's been the person that I've been in communication with over there. He's been absolutely fantastic. Of course, he's also been interviewed. We've also created a fabulous, or at least I think so, article entitled The Joy of Cannabis Collecting, which I encourage all of you to read because I think it's a great article, especially if you want to understand more about cannabis. And of course, it features the Royal Queen seeds, so you can learn more about the seeds there. And of course, the seeds will be sent out after the summit as an appreciation for all of those who have been participating in the summit. Dana Dwight from Forbidden Leaf. Again, I mentioned how absolutely enamored I am by her fabulous cosmetic products and lotions and soaps and shampoos and all that sort of stuff like that using hemp oils. And she's going to be sending out a little gift to all the speakers as well. And I'm extremely grateful for her for doing that. Now, some of the other companies will be sending out just a few items, so not necessarily everybody will be receiving these items. So I'm trying to divvy it up so that each of the speakers will receive something that will either be up their alley of interest or in some way appropriate for themselves. So Titanium Deviations has offered to provide 7 units to the summit speakers, and we're very grateful. So some of you, some of the speakers that we know are probably going to really enjoy this fabulous one-hitter and dugout combination. They will be receiving some of these items. CTS Innovators with the 7-leaf drying rack will be sending out 5 of their units. So of course Susan Weed, obviously we're going to be sending her one of the 7-leaf drying racks, and a few of the other people who are known to be growers. We're going to be asking that CTS Innovators send their products to the people who are specifically growers, so that they can actually hopefully make use of this fabulous drawing system at the end of the summer, so that they can of course be drawing their cannabis and perhaps other herbs as well, particularly Susan Weed. I'm sure she'll be using it to grow mostly medicinal or culinary herbs. And so thank you so very much to CTS Innovators for their absolutely fantastic product, and for of course providing it to the various different speakers as well. And of course, I'd like to also put out a shout out of appreciation to Magic Flight company, who's provided us with several units of the fabulous Magic Flight launch box. As I'm sure it's already apparent from the interview and from the reviews, I for one am very much a big fan of the Magic Flight launch box, and I'm very grateful that they've provided us with 5 units. So I've personally kept one. I kind of had my eye on the premium wood units, and so I kept the which was it called, the walnut. It's a sort of a darker brown color, which I intend to stain a little bit later on to make it an even richer color, and also the cherry unit, since Bad Kitty Smiles had provided us what I like to think of as the cherry on top for the summit with her videos. We're going to be sending her a premium cherry unit as a token of our appreciation, and thanks again to Magic Flight for providing us with this gift. And of course, Rick Simpson, he will be receiving the one that is with the what's it called, the flower of life, and we figured that would be sort of an appropriate gift to share with him. And Lincoln Horsley will also be receiving one of the Magic Flight launch boxes, and as well as an employee who will or someone who actually kind of did some work for us back in January. I can't name this person's name, however, very much grateful, and so we're going to be providing that person with one of the launch boxes as well. And I also purchased on eBay some of the pot copper coins. They're absolutely beautiful. I think they're great. Everybody that I show them to absolutely loves them. And if you may recall from the interview with Electropig, he talks about how to use this coin as a conversational starter just by flipping it on a desk such as this. And of course, it just happened to land with the pot leaf side up. And of course, with such a loud coin tumbling on a table, it definitely draws attention. And anybody in the vicinity would definitely be looking at it, notice the pot leaf, and it might be a conversational starter. So please consider, going to eBay, getting yourself one of these pot copper coins, or you can go to Electropig's website to see if he's still offering them or not. And of course, I understand from someone that they're working on a new pot copper coin with a new design, which should be coming out in a few months as well. Very much looking forward to those. And definitely get yourself these coins, or going back to Dana Dwight's Forbidden Leaf, her soap or her soap products that, of course, featured a leaf. These are great conversational starters. So definitely consider getting yourself one of these pot copper coins, Dana Dwight's products. Or, of course, any of the products that we've mentioned before. If you have the courage to show them off, please do so and make people aware of this fabulous plant. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had an absolutely fantastic time putting together this event, and I really hope that many of you had learned a lot. Just for what it's worth, it's also been a very challenging time in my life putting this event together. I faced a lot of my personal demons, my personal fears have been challenged. I have to admit, working on the summit was very difficult, and I'll admit, I actually contemplated on a few occasions quitting this entire thing. And I'll tell you why. One, it's a huge project. I've really literally bitten off an elephant, but I'm proud of myself that I've actually completed the first annual event, and here it is. We're now at the day 10 of this event, and I hope that all of you have enjoyed the content that I've managed to create here for you. But part of the reason why that this was so difficult was, in addition to the fact that, of course, it was a huge project and there was a lot of work to do around it, but a lot of personal fears, coming out of the closet, becoming a vocal cannabis activist. I've already faced a few interesting challenges as a result. Unfortunately, some of my family, my in-laws in particular, have not viewed this with a very kind perspective. So that has actually been a very difficult time over the past few months for me with the in-laws, but there's been other things as well. Of course, I've not succeeded in getting my medical licenses, even though I qualify under the Category 2 of the Health Canada Medical Marijuana Access Regulations, the MMAR program. Technically, I should be legal. However, because of the difficulties of getting involved with the program, I've not yet become legal, and I've, as a result, had to quit cannabis use to ensure that the summit would continue, because if I were to get busted for using cannabis, and thrown in jail, then possibly the summit would have been aborted in that way. So a lot of the products that I've received from the manufacturers, are still virgin in the sense of they're untainted in that respect. But anyhow, the point of the matter is that it's been a challenge personally to put on the summit. I've literally had to overcome and surmount a lot of my personal fears and a lot of personal challenges to be able to put this event. But I feel that I've come out a stronger person as a result. I really feel now that I can really relate with a lot of cannabis activists. I've gone through a few hardships, fortunately not as bad as some of the other cannabis activists out there, but I can definitely relate to them in many respects that I won't be elaborating upon at this point. But there's a saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and in many respects, I found that throughout this entire process, I've cleansed a lot of my fears and a lot of my inhibitions about speaking my mind freely about cannabis. And in many respects, I now feel that I stand stronger in support of this plant. I'm out of the closet. It's known that I'm a cannabis user, and I very much support the legalization of it. I seriously believe that it is the most important political issue of our time to legalize cannabis because of the numerous benefits that this one simple action would have. But through this entire process, I've had a lot of personal awakenings and a lot of personal strengthening to my personal character that I won't really elaborate upon here, but I'll just simply say that through these challenges, I feel that I've come out stronger. And I just want to thank all of you for this opportunity to share this with you And because of all of you and because of sharing all this information with all of you, I've had a tremendous growth and tremendous growing opportunity. So I just want to say thank you for listening to this summit, and thank you for participating in this summit, because without you, I would not have been creating this summit, and there would not have been this fabulous personal journey of growth and evolution and self-discovery and self-improvement that I've had the opportunity. So thank you to all of you. So we've come to the end of the first of the annual Cannabis World Summits, the 2013. I hope that all of you have really enjoyed this. I look forward to your emails of encouragement, for your gratitudes, and also for your comments of how you envision we can make this event even better. Looking forward for a bunch of new topics for next year. I have a lot of great ideas already, and we're going to be starting this summer running with all the activities to be further marketing this, further spreading the messages that are already available in the past 10 days. Hopefully with viral marketing, this will really take off, and that these messages will really grab hold of a lot of people's minds. And please, please, please remember to subscribe to the email list so that you will be notified of any updates when they're important to be coming out, especially to be notified and reminded of next year's event so that you can find out where and when it will be. So thank you all very much for this marvelous opportunity. I hope that you've learned a lot. I look forward to hearing your feedback, and I look forward to seeing you again next year. Until then, I wish for you all a safe and successful exploration with this marvelous plant, and may you spread the word about the miracles that this plant has to offer. May you become an activist, and may you do something important in this world, even if it's inspiring just one other mind. Thank you.